Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you the new Econ 2 OER course that I designed using OpenStack's resources as well as Lumen Learning. And Lumen Learning just came out with the updated version of the Macroeconomics course, so this is pretty fresh. So when you enter the course, you're going to see the modules. It takes you right to the modules. This first module is completely for the instructor only. That's why it says private everywhere. There is some sensitive information in some of these documents, so you want to make sure not to publish this module. This is just for you. If you go in here, we can quickly go through these. This is just some general resources talking about the online education initiative, some other OER resources. There's some links to some helpful stuff. And if we continue on, you get into the information about Lumen, their readings, and where their information came from. So this is good stuff if you want to know a little bit about the course. The next one is going to be another overview. This is the modules, just an overview from Lumen. And if we move on, you'll see the learning outcomes. Again, this is good stuff. And something about pacing. So the good news is there are 16 modules. So for West, that's pretty good because usually we do either 8-week courses or 16-week courses, and so that's great that it's 16 modules. That fits in well with the semester. And then this is this page talks about the sample assignments and where they're located. We'll look at those a little later, but basically Lumen's created a bunch of assignments and they correspond with the course. And if you look down here, you'll see in this grid which assignments are available for which module. And I haven't embedded the assignments in the actual modules section, but if you go to assignments, you'll be able to preview those assignments. They're actually in, I did put them in Canvas. If you choose to use some of these assignments, you're going to want to add points, due dates, as well as publish them, right? And in addition, there are the assignment solutions. That's a private file that's just for instructors, and that basically is the answers for these assignments, so the instructor can look at those. And along with those assignments, there's separate file that is an assignment problem sets. And these, I did not embed these into this course, but there is the file. So if you want to look at these, they're pretty good. Especially if you had if you're using this for a face-to-face class, there's good problem sets that are go along with a lot of these modules, and you can use those as well. And then, yep, just some more information on the assignments. There are discussions. I have put the discussions into the modules, which we'll look at in a minute. And the next thing in the instructor module is just this guide on editing quizzes. This course comes with test banks from Lumen, and I've created sample module quizzes as well as a final and a midterm. You may want to edit those. You may want to delete those and create your own. This page is just some information on how to create quizzes in Canvas using various methods. So this last link is the one I use, how to create a quiz with a question group linked to a question bank. That's the one I use to create the quizzes in this course. This is a page that just has Lumen's contact information. So if you want to talk to Lumen, you can contact them here. And once I've completed this video, with this tour of this site, I'll put it on this page here. So that's it for the instructor module. I just wanted to quickly look at that. And then if we move down, this one I have published for your students. This is just a general Canvas orientation module. It shows your students how to do various things in Canvas, including submitting assignments and taking a quiz, stuff like that. Moving down the list, we have 2 modules that contain some student resources. The first is the textbook PDF. It's all of the readings from Lumen, but it's in a PDF form. So this is good for students if they want to download this. They can read it even if they don't have an internet connection. If they download this file, it's a good thing. And the next thing is the PowerPoints. These are module PowerPoints. I haven't put them in each module. I've just put them as one document here where students can click to download the PowerPoints or click the little magnifying glass, which will open it up in a preview window eventually. And these PowerPoints, you can also use these if you're teaching a face-to-face class and you want to do some lectures from a PowerPoint. This is where you can download them. And if we move along, you're going to see the readings and the modules from Lumen. So this is the first module. This contains, when students click on these are the parts of the first module readings. So it opens up right in Canvas. Students will read this and then click this next at the bottom. Try not to encourage them to click this one, but this one here, and that takes them to the next part. And the thing I like about Lumen, I've said it before, they have a lot of videos within the readings, which are great. It kind of keeps it a little more interactive, as well as in some of the readings they'll have these boxes where they give sort of little review questions that students can take within the book. These don't go to your grade book. These are just kind of review things to keep the student on track and sort of learning. So I really like that, and that's in the reading section of the modules. Below the reading section is 2 parts which are unpublished. You'd have to publish these and put in the due dates. One is the discussion. So first we'll look at a discussion here. And these are from Lumen. I've attributed their information down here. So you may want to use these. These are great weekly discussions or module discussions. So it's nice that they've included this in the resources. And I've made them worth 20 points. You can always edit the details, make them worth however many points you want. You're also free to edit these any way you want. If you didn't want a 200-word response, you could change it to 100 words. Lumen doesn't mind if you change this stuff within the course. Moving on, below the discussion is a module quiz. And these ones, this is what the quiz will look like. I've made these 20 question quizzes, so one per module. And I've drawn the questions from the test banks. I've turned off let me go into the details here. So I've shuffled the answers. So A, B, C, D will be different for different students. I've put a time limit of 40 minutes, so that's 2 minutes per question. If you think that's too long, you can always come in here and change that. I've taken out let students see the quiz responses. This is just to preserve the integrity of the test bank. Sometimes if you leave this on, students will see the answers and then pass them to their friends, and then before you know it, they've got their own study guide with all the answers to all the questions. So this is at your preference. If you want to show them what they got right and wrong, you can by all means enable this. My strong advice is to, if you do enable the showing students the correct answers, fill in this box here, which is a date box. So I would suggest showing, if you are going to show them the correct answers, show them after the quiz has closed for the entire class, so that they only get the answers once everyone's taken the quiz. And that's a good way to prevent sharing of answers. But as you will see, not every quiz will be the same for each student. These are picking, here we are in the questions area, where I'm randomly selecting 6 questions, 7 questions, 20 total from different test banks. So depending on how many questions are in the test bank, these are random. So one student's going to get a different test from the other student. The test banks are within the quizzes area. So if you wanted to create your own, I'll show you briefly what the question banks look like. And the way Lumen does it, it's really interesting. So they have the same test banks, but they're presented in 2 different ways. So one way is they actually break up each module into parts. And so, for instance, Module 1 has 3 separate test banks here, and each bank is referring to a different part of the module, obviously. So when I created the quizzes, I drew questions from each part of each module test bank, so that the students get kind of a balanced quiz with a balanced questions from all the parts. If we scroll down the test banks, you'll see below the actual, they call them granular test banks, you have consolidated test banks. So instead of breaking up Module 1 into parts, this test bank is every question in every part of Module 1. So if you're creating a final or a midterm, you might want to use these instead, because these are just going to draw from the entire body of questions. But that's up to you. The one thing I will tell you is, if you're going to create quizzes with these test banks, choose either the consolidated or the granular. Don't do both, because they contain the same questions. They're just in a different grouping, right? So moving along, I think that might be it for the modules, because every module is the same. They've got the readings, followed by a discussion, followed by a quiz. And after the 8th module, I've put a 50-point midterm, which is randomly selecting questions from the consolidated test banks for the first 8 modules. It's really easy. If you want to make this 100 points, you can go in and edit the number of questions being drawn from those banks. It's pretty easy to do. And then, yeah, it just goes on from there. I will show you briefly the assignments. So if we click on assignments, you'll see I've grouped some of these, and I will reorder these so they're in order. But I've got a group of assignments that's the discussions. I've got a group that's just the assignments. And again, you're going to want to look at these before you assign them to your students, just to make sure you don't want to overload them. So I wouldn't assign them all of these. They're quite detailed. So take a look at these, and then maybe pick 3 to 5 to give to your students over the course of the semester. And then, of course, we have our quizzes and the midterm and final. I am going to put these in separate groups. So you can see I already created a quiz group. So I'm going to drag all of these into there, keep them kind of organized. And then that's it. So this should be a pretty good course for you to use. I was really impressed with Lumen and how they've updated this course and added a ton of assignments and discussions and quizzes. So I'm really happy with how this one turned out. And I'll be uploading this one to the Canvas Commons soon. This will be available for all LA Community College District teachers. It won't be public to the world. It's just within our own little Canvas group. But if you want to import this into your course, go into your blank Canvas course and you click on Home. And on the right, you're going to click Import from Commons. And then in the search bar here, you're just going to type WLAC. And that's going to bring up all of the OER courses that I've created for you guys. So you would click on the course you want to import, select your course on the right, and then click Import into Course. And that's going to download all of the course content into your Canvas site that you can then edit, publish, and share with your students. So thank you for watching.